island trip, text trip. Only two on my climate's beach. Oh yeah, full of tender girls, yes. We had a little I love flying to Hawaii like a close to me. Got 5 hours to the land with an ocean breeze. See nigga views, good food, and the woman tender. Bay Area. To the islands with a culture blender.
Tell me something about the water.
It is oh so tender.
Are there beaches everywhere?
Take a drive and end up on the side of the road. Stop it is a must. Take a list.
To thy waves. Hey, good morning or afternoon to all of you beautiful thugs and humans. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We are here for our Saturday recap of Love After Lockup Season 5, Episode 5, titled Rome's Not Where the Heart Is. We do this recap every Saturday. Saturdays are our Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, Love During Lockup. Those are the days that we recap it. So we will go through this as fast as humanly possible. For those new to the channel or who need a refresher, watching the live replay, the way I do things here, because Love After Lockup has these long 90-minute episodes, is I will go through what happened throughout the entire episode for each couple. And then we shall give our opinions. I will try to be nice. I will try to be nice at the mouth. Anywho, if you're looking at the background today, it is a virtual background. That's why if I do this, you'll see some of my house. But I will try not to do that. The background of this is Mr. Best, who helps with funding the channel, supporting the channel. He's also my co-host for our weekly song reviews. He had a song released. So the title of the song is Flood. As you can see, it quotes it. The drought is over, about to be a flood in Cali. So I encourage everybody to listen to that, support B3ST as a whole so we can continue giving you content in the form of music, recaps, and more. Anywho, congrats to Oh So Best. You are loved. Keep thriving. We're going to hop on into the recap. We are going to start with Andy and Brittany. They stressed me out. They stressed me out. And, you know, on Love During Lockup, I didn't have the most concerns really towards the end when she freaked out about his kids feeling like he's not there. But apologies if you guys can hear the sirens in the background. I live in Vallejo in the Bay. It's very loud sometimes. Anywho, Andy doesn't know if Brittany's coming back. In the last episode, homegirl did. She got in the car. She didn't say anything. They were arguing. So he just assumed she was leaving and not coming back. So he packed his bags. So she ends up returning and she says that she was with Gracie and that Gracie was really upset. And it sounds like she wants him to be more supportive. And my thing with that is like, how much support do you want? You got a bear with $700 in it. You have $500 more waiting for you at home, just cash to have. This man has gotten a home for you, picked you up, embraced your kids, been patient with you, paid for hotels, sat in a parking lot for hours alone, probably in some sort of southern heat or humidity. Like, why is she doing this? I feel like she's an ungrateful little heifer thus far. That's just how I feel. But I know that everybody feels differently. I was on the little Love After Lockup Instagram page this morning. I saw a lot of people agreeing with me. I left a little comment there talking about it. It just seems like she's using him, but he also has some red flags in the type of person and father that he is. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't like either of them, honestly, you guys. I just don't like them. But it is good that they communicated instead of just screaming and disappearing. And after all of that shit, she agrees to go home. And I'm like, well, that's smart because you stated Gracie needs some space in a few days. And she's still talking about she feels uneasy with Andy. So it was just another awkward car ride. I feel like every time Andy and Brittany are on our screens, we get awkward car rides with Lil Barry in the background. Just kind of like. So they get home and bitch isn't grateful in any way. She's one of the most ungrateful people I think that's been on Love After Lockup. She's, instead of even being glad to be in a house or happy to be free, it doesn't feel like my home. Did the sale feel like your home, Brittany? I just want to know if the sale felt like your home. That's all I want to know. Reminder to everyone, she was the inmate. So I don't know. Basically, she's sitting in the house, just like literally like this, just miserable. I'm like, is that bad? Why did you come home with him? You have $700 in your pocket. take that money and take $69.95 plus tax and go get you a hotel room if you can't stand to be around this man. Or call your daughter and figure out how you can, live with her. Figure something out, but don't stay with him, making him feel like he the problem when you're just going to be unhappy no matter what he does, Brittany. Like, that shit don't make no type of sense. I can't stand her. I just can't stand her just sitting on the couch, round and big, just like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? If you don't like the nigga, then leave. That's how I feel with Brittany. So basically, in my opinion, she's just miserable. She's making a bigger issue. Like Andy, there are issues with him. Yes, he's problematic, but I don't feel as though, I feel like he's at least trying to give the relationship a shot. It's like, listen, your kids are damaged. And that's unfortunate because Gracie has gone through a lot because of her choices. So, if you can't give yourself to a man because you want to be there for your kids, then be there for your kids. Nobody's mad at that. But don't not be there for your kids while also getting at him and then trying to blame him for your actions. No one's responsible for your kids but you as the parent. So that's pretty much all that happened. They were just really awkward. That's why I'm going over them first. Not much really happened. They were awkward around each other. Their son, Barry, though, he got the hell up out of Dodge. He said, I'm just going to go to a friend's house. He didn't want to be in that house. You could cut the tension with a plastic spoon. Like, it just does not make sense. So moving on to the next couple, you guys, we're going to get into Louis and Melissa. And I am looking down because I do have my notes on my little phone. I have to have my notes. And apologies if I sound nasally. I am fighting a cold because in California, one day it's raining and it's 30 degrees. And then the next day it's sunny, clear skies. It's 80 degrees and we're sitting in front of fans. And then the next following hour, it's misting and sprinkling. I don't know what's going on with California. We're getting like almost like tropical weather. It's so weird. And my body, when it changes like this, and then I smell smoke in the air from the wildfires, I got asthma, y'all. I'm fucked up. Tired of it. It's like, damn, it's hard to breathe in California and it's expensive. Please stop moving here. Anywho, Louis and Melissa. He finds out that he can go to New Jersey, but of course there are some little stipulations and things that he has to follow. So the PO tells Louis, this comes from Louis, not Melissa, that it would be best. He said, he pointed to that finger. He said, it would be best if you really love her and you think it's going to work and that's who you're living with, to marry her, then the state of New Jersey will accept your probation and you can move up there. So Melissa, of course, is like, done, not a problem. And his mom is like, oh, hell no. Because remember, she came in the last episode while Louis was in probation. She came up there, but she was uninvited because they stuck off to the hotel room and she had her wooden spoon and she was knocking on the window of the car with a wooden spoon and a nightgown, child. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. So she ended up in the car and the mom is pissed. And she says, fuck that. She's going home. Louis like, all right. She says, I'm cooking. You're coming. Now, if y'all remember the last time Louis' mom cooked, do you guys remember the pasta that there was sauce and meatballs too, but for some reason they were just eating the pasta with that? I didn't understand that meal. And from what I can see and the little gatherings, I don't be on the internet too much, just on Instagram here and there. And it looks like nobody else understood the food. The mom should stop cooking if she wants him to stay home. DoorDash, Uber Eats, order that. That lady can't cook. They were eating dry noodles, dry pasta. They had meatballs and sauce. They did not want the sauce or the meatballs. They wanted the dry pasta, unseasoned, nothing there. It was just pasta. And, when I make pasta, I try to just mix it all together because I don't want to do it. I know some people like put the sauce on. I don't have time for that when I'm cooking. I do what's efficient. It tastes good. Ask Mr. Best. That's all that matters. Okay. But I don't think Louis wants to eat that lady's food. So she shouldn't say that. He tells his mom he's going on a date with Melissa. She says, fuck your date, with her wooden spatula. I said, oh my God. Even my husband said, oh, what's wrong with her? My husband had to look like, I would have to talk to my mama. I'm so lucky to have the mother-in-law that I have. Shout out to Kathy. We love you because she's not problematic. Like a lot of people are like, my in-laws don't like me. My in-laws have always been, well, my mother-in-law has always been incredibly welcoming, incredibly welcoming. And my father-in-law and his wife, they're very nice too. They've always been nice to me. Anywho, the mom is screaming, fuck the date. They end up going on the date. They get home. While getting dressed, the mom is like taking jabs at Melissa. I mean, it's constant. I think this lady wants to date her child. I really do, because this is like unhealthy attachment to your child. And I can say that. I'll go have a degree in psychology next week. Literally, I graduate college next Saturday. Yay. So I'm just like, listen, something's not right. There's some cognitive disarray and dissonance going on. The shit don't make sense. This lady is off, y'all. She is freaking off. So long story short, they go on the date and the date goes to complete shit. Melissa is jealous. At first, I was like, homegirl jealous. So they go on this date. I'm getting ahead of myself, y'all. They go on this date where they're doing a dance lesson together. They're learning to, like, it looks like ballroom dance, which to me, I thought older people did at like the Arthur Murray dance studio. That's what we have around the Bay. But, ballroom dance is okay. I used to dance. Ballroom is like too close. I don't like being touched by people. So anywho, they're at the dance lesson and Melissa's like, this dance instructor, it's like, okay, like I feel like a third wheel. I'm like, oh Lord. So she feels like a third wheel. And at first I'm like, are you that insecure that you're jealous when you're at a dance lesson? This is how you teach, when you choreograph. That's what you do. So fast forward, the dance instructor doesn't give any good feedback to Melissa. None. She says, good job, Louie. Yeah, take your hand and put it over here and you're like a professional. And then when it comes to Melissa, no, Melissa, I want you to take the 2 step. I said, oh shit. So at first I'm like, okay. But then when she started complimenting his shirt, this is such a nice top. It's such a nice top. I looked at my husband. I wish a bitch would. I'm that crazy over my man. I don't care, but I can be. I have a ring, so I have a reason to be crazy. But I really am that crazy. Like, I don't like when bitches look at him wrong, look at him right. I've caught people females looking at his little package line and shit. Like, I don't play that shit. I'll be ready to fight people pushing them in front of a BART train. Like, don't play with me. Don't do that. Don't keep your hands to yourself, dance instructor. And I've choreographed before. Used to dance for many, many years. Have choreographed couples and taught them and done lessons. Ain't no way in hell that dance instructor should have done that. I wonder if that was like her studio or if this was scripted, because like professionally, I can't see someone coming on television and behaving that way. But Melissa did kind of have a reason to feel a way about the dance instructor. And I was like, seriously, dude, like, you're going to walk away. She gets mad. Can you tell me what the restroom is? If you think this bitch is flirting with Louis, Melissa, why would you leave the room? I'm holding my pee until I can't hold it no more, until the next season come, if I have to. I'm not going to leave my man alone with somebody that's actively flirting with him or that I suspect is. That's stupid. And that doesn't mean you don't trust your man. Yes, you should have trust in your man, but at the same time, you can't trust these girls, hoes, thoughts, bops, whatever term you want to use. Like, women are just a shiesty sometimes. So you gotta watch them. Anywho, Melissa and Louie are just a hot mess. She goes to the bathroom and pretty much she's just bothered. That's all we see from them this episode, but I am interested to see what happens next and how the 45 days that it'll take for Louie to go down there when they're going to do this marriage. Like Melissa and Louie, like at first I was like, oh, are they just milking on this high school thing? And, it was corny. We saw him give her the corsage and talk about how she never got to go to prom and all this extra stuff. But I'm just like, was there more? And it looked like there is more. I just feel like Melissa needs to run. I feel like she has ugly duckling syndrome. And I'm not saying the girl is unattractive. I'm not saying that as at all. But some females, I've seen the prettiest of females feel like they are not pretty at all. And it leads them to make volatile and concerning choices when they're dating. And that's all I'm going to say there. So hopefully we see what the hell happens soon with these two. I know that Life After Lockup should be coming soon. They are advertising that and marketing that. And I will be doing recaps of Life After Lockup because you can't just recap a part of it without doing the rest. If you know, you know. So I look forward to that. And maybe Melissa and Louie will be on there if something happens with that. I don't know, y'all. But the next couple I'm going to go over is Chelsea and Mikey, aka Michael, because he goes by Mikey. And basically, Chelsea, we left off on the last episode with Chelsea saying Mikey doesn't know she's not ready to have sex. She wants to basically remain celibate for some time before just jumping to sex. She wants to take it slow. I don't see anything wrong with that. Your body, your choice, but you need to communicate your choices for your body with the person who you are romantically involved with. That's the responsible thing to do. And plus, if you tell someone I'm not ready to have sex and you're thinking this is the person and they get mad at you and leave you, then maybe they're not the person, because if they really like you, they wait. Boom. That's the fact. So suddenly she's sick. And I'm still trying to figure out, though, because in the last episode, she stated she don't want to sleep with him, has no intentions of doing it for some time, like months. So I'm like, are you really sick, Chelsea? Or are you doing this because you didn't want to do it? Like, I'm not sure what to believe. But if she is sick, it was nice to see that he was understanding, wasn't tripping on sex at all. He brought her coffee, was asking if she felt okay, just trying to take things slow for today. So I thought he was really thoughtful, which was nice. And word on the street that's floating around the social media world and tabloid, all that shit, is that they have called it quits. I'm like, oh no. So if Chelsea and Michael are broken up, I would be devastated. And we TV figure it out. I'm tired of all these spoilers. Y'all airing the where are they now like we don't already know where they are now, like they don't tell us all the time. That's just my thing. Anywho, so basically he's understanding about not having sex, and then he has to go meet with his PO to see about transferring his parole to Ohio, where Chelsea lives, because I believe they are in Kentucky right now. So they go out to breakfast with his sisters, and his older sister pulls him to the side. She expresses some concerns about him moving too fast. She doesn't dislike Chelsea. She just wants him to take a second and live in the moment. His mother passed away recently while he was in jail. I think she feels like he hasn't processed that and is just jumping into a relationship. You know, he's been in jail pretty much most of his adult life, as his sister states. So that's a genuine concern. But she was respectful. I really like the bond he has with his sisters, and gets on the right path. So he tells his sisters and Chelsea, he can go to Ohio, basically. And they discuss a promise ring and all these things. And we find out Chelsea says if Mikey was to propose to her, it would be a hell no. It sounds like she's had trauma in past relationships, but I actually think she may have been learning from it and doesn't just want to jump into things. I encourage everyone to go look into the YouTube channel According to Amber. I watch her frequently. She always gives the scoop on like what's going on with cast members behind the scene. And she had some insight into Chelsea's past relationships, what's happened with her children, things of that nature. So I encourage everybody to look at that because it explains a lot of why she might be trying to, take things on a more cautious approach, which I actually kind of respect. She's got her son, the one son that, she has custody of and he doesn't have his dad in his life. So it seems like she's responsibly trying to ease him into things with Mikey, if that makes sense. But overall, he looks like he'll be able to go to Ohio. It looks like it's the same as the other people we just discussed. It's going to take about 45 days, month and a half. Government probation, paperwork, they move insanely slow. Like, true story. My husband, we applied for passports together because we're going to Mexico soon. And they sent my passport with no problem. I filled out both applications. For some reason, his is lost somewhere. We just never received it. I'm like, Lord, the trip is next month. We probably go have to be, government, give him his passport. Government moves slow. So it looks like probation is part of that. And that's why that happens. But overall, everyone's just making sure that Chelsea and Michael are doing the right thing. It seems like Michael wants to just go off into love and life with her. And Chelsea, her sister, and his sisters, everybody else is like, let's take it slow. Let's process things, which I think is smart because they both lost their parents and they've bonded and gotten really close over that. And you want to ensure that you're not just relying on your person for a trauma bond, because then codependency, things of that nature. You know, he needs to get himself right, figure out his life, and then figure that out. So I actually like this couple and wish them the best. And I have no problem reading the subtitles because she is deaf. I am blessed to be able to hear and to see, and she is not. So I have no complaints on reading the subtitles. And anybody else who does have complaints about reading subtitles, well, you're an asshole. That's how I feel. It shouldn't be hard to read that. Do y'all know what the fuck I read in a week for school? You can read some subtitles. You're fine. So moving on to the next couple, Renika and Asante, our lovely, lovely local ratchet choice of wig wearer. She said to us on Facebook when Love During Lockup aired like 2 months ago, I do have different wigs. Don't worry, y'all. That was just, and then you all see Mr. Best in the background. He is here. He just got off work, so apologies. But Renika, you're still in that wig, and I want you to take it off. She's worn the wig so long that the top where the lace is, you can see it's like tethered. It looks kind of like the bottom of like a push broom that you push your leaves with outside. And that just means your wig has been worn too long, and it's really stiff. And that does not mean her wig is dirty. It just means it probably was a blend of human as well as synthetic to get that color. And she's probably washed it, blow dried it. She's worn that wig and all of its sideburns. And I'm tired of it. It makes it hard to feel sorry for her when she wears that wig. Because like niggas I know, it like in my life, just my male friends, I have a lot of male friends, cousins, all of that. Like they all say the same thing when they see this girl on TV. I mean, like, I guess you could hit it if there's nothing else available. Like, no. Why do you say that? They say the same thing. Bitches that wear wigs like that is easy. She got to work that wig out. She's too old for that. She's 34 and she's a business owner. Renika is a business owner, y'all. And we forget this because she's running around Asante in clothes that are too large for her and that damn wig. And I'm over it. Anywho, she's in the car with the private investigator because we didn't get them last episode. So those who don't remember, her friend hired a private investigator for her to figure out what the hell Asante's nefarious activities are. I don't know why she would waste money or her friend's money on a PI when the woman literally texted her. She talked to the lady on the phone. The lady said, I am his girlfriend. And this girl is delusional. She's like, I need to know for sure. You know, what if he really is up there with somebody? It's been confirmed. You called your PI called the room and she confirmed that it was her and him in there. You done talked to him. Renika's like denying that this is happening and everybody is telling her this is happening. And it's really a little pathetic and it's delusional. I don't know, but I think it's embarrassment. That's what I get because I think that she's smart, obviously, but not with her choices in men. Or I can't say that she's smart. I take that back. But what I can say is she does have some type of discernment to her. So I think that she knows that what she's done is foolish and looks crazy, and she's just doing what she can to hide the embarrassment, which is to try and look like she just doesn't believe that this could happen. But she does, kind of like Monique and Derek. Monique was embarrassed and suddenly her sisters and them was fighting and she thinks that airing Derek's text messages out. Oh, they're still a mess, you guys, Monique and Derek. It's kind of similar. And Renika and Asante, I'm kind of over it too. I'm kind of bored with their situation. Also, condolences to Asante, RIP. He is deceased. And that's unfortunate because he was so young and he has a child on the way and all those things. But I'm just kind of bored of their storyline. It's like we've gotten now 3 episodes of her with this PI. They're spreading one day over the course of like 3 episodes. It's too much for me. And not shit really happened. She's basically stressed out and doesn't believe it, even though she should. And the lady has told her. She finally calls her kids. I made sure to put that in the notes. Her kids, if we remember in the first episode of this season, were sent off to somebody's house to start school in a new state outside of the house that they could be sharing with their mama so she could run after this guy and they could make nasty fuck in bedroom. because y'all know he didn't shower. She was climbing on that jail-ridden thing before. Like, I didn't understand it. Anywho, so she says to the camera too, Asante, you know, he's been taking the focus away from my kids. No, you have. You're a mom. It's your job to put your kids first above everything. That's somebody who's a mom. Tell me if I'm wrong. That's, you can't expect or let him get in the way of that shit. If he ain't putting his hands on you, if you're not being abused, he is not in the way of you being there for your kids. You are, Renika. Do better and be accountable. I just can't understand it. So she tells her kids, and this is how this lady, while she's not doing anything, her kids have housing and food. I think it's incredibly irresponsible to tell your 13 and 17-year-old daughter about how you hired a private investigator to investigate the man that you found in the prison because you suspect that he is with another woman. And all her kids did was what the rest of us could do. Laugh. At least they're in a new state and maybe no one knows who their mom is and it won't be connected for them. That's ridiculous. I just can't. So basically, the PI goes in and he gets the hotel guy, if this was not scripted, to give him the room number that Asante's in. And Renika goes up to the room and knocks on the door. That's the last we see of this. We're going to see what happens next week. But based on the little credits, it looks like Asante does admit to having more than one girlfriend. And obviously, the other girlfriend is the one he's more into because he spent a few hours with Renika. Got picked up by the other bitch from Renika's house and ain't come back since. It's been days. So, Renika, he chose up, boo. If the fact that you're still choosing and chasing and doing all of this, it's sad. We would respect you. I think everyone would respect you. Listen, nobody should be embarrassed to be cheated on. You just shouldn't. You can't control that. You don't choose that. It's the other person's fault. But where you're going to look embarrassed is when you stay and you do all of this and you try to deny what's literally right in front of your fucking face and wig. So Renika, she's a pretty girl too. Take off the wig, leave Asante. You're in Atlanta now. Find you an Atlanta nigga. I don't know. But that's all I could say about that. We're going to move on to the next couple, Brittany and Karak, our youngest couple. And after this episode, you could tell they remind me of every 24-year-old, including myself. They feel like, wow, I'm 24, I'm halfway to 30 almost. I'm an adult. I've attained all this wisdom. They don't know shit. They don't know shit. I don't know how to talk about this nicely or without getting canceled. So just know that B3ST as a company does support LGBTQ plus. I say plus because I can't remember all the letters and things. I can barely remember yesterday. We do support that community. We have no issue in supporting them. We have friends who are part of that community as well as family members. But we have to discuss it because it comes up. So Karak and Brittany were last seen going to his probation. They go to the wrong probation office. Karak is blaming everybody but himself. It is your responsibility to know where you have to go for your probation. Not your girlfriend, not your mama. So Brittany, stop trying to place blame, talking about, oh, his mom. His mom told me this. It is Karak's. I would be triple checking. And I've been on probation. I triple checked where the fuck to go. I sure did. Because it changed like 3 times because Alameda County sucks. But I triple checked. If it's something that has to do with your freedom, you are responsible, correct? So they make it to the right probation officer, and I'm looking like the weather changed. It was sunny and nice. They get there, it's storming. The storm turns to lightning and thunder. I'm petrified of lightning and thunder. I hide under the covers. I don't do that shit. And there's hail coming out of the sky. This is why I stay in California. I can deal with a little earth shaker too. I can't do that type of weather. But he does successfully sign up for his probation. He's controlling. I mean, the whole way there, he's telling her how to drive. The worst thing you could do is tell somebody who's driving, like how to drive in the way that Karak did. I mean, you're going to lead the girl into a crash. They make it, but he does get good news on his probation. He can live with Brittany. Usually felons can't stay together, but it looks like he's able to do that, which I think is strange, but hey, that's good for them, I suppose. So basically, in the rain, they have this corny moment that I guess I'm supposed to speak on because I decided to start a YouTube channel and recap these things. He decides to pick her up in the rain. He's like, she walked her pretty little feet through the water. Yeah, after you was hollering at her to do it when you could have just skipped your fucking loo to the car. I didn't understand it. Then he tries to pick her up. Well, that's pointless. Her feet have already been soaked, Karat. I understand you want to be a man and all of that, but my man would have let me walk through no fucking ruined my cute outfit and my boots and all of that. My man would have just ran to the car. Why? How does chivalry work in that? I'd love to know. I'm curious because Karak don't get it, and they're just so young, like to be excited over something like that. Like I've had men that I don't know run to open doors in the rain, put umbrellas over my head. Like there are still gentlemen that exist. If you present yourself like a lady, you'll see it. It's a fact. So anywho, they make it to a coffee shop and they meet with his mentor, whose name is Coffee. Look at that. Isn't that catchy and fun? So Karak's mentor, this concerned me, and maybe it's nothing to be concerned over. But if you want to change your life, I don't think it's useful to have a mentor who's the girlfriend of your prison mom. That just that doesn't make sense. I want my mentor to be someone who has been through what I've been through, but is so fucking far away from that shit today that no one they knew was doing it. They're not doing it. Their probation's over, shit like that. Like, you don't have to be perfect to be a mentor, but maybe your prison mother's girlfriend isn't a good person. Just a thought. So they're speaking about things, and there's a lot of topics that come up about the fact that Karak is transitioning to male. This is something he's very comfortable with. Looks like his mother accepts it. His girlfriend accepts it. The only person, oddly, who we see is not fully on board to support his transition is his mentor, Coffee, which is strange, but not strange. The reason I feel it's strange is because your mentor should support all that you do that is positive or self-serving in terms of a place of finding happiness, which for people who are transitioning, I know I'm natural born female, I may not understand it or ever get it, but when you think of it from the perspective of empathizing with them, transitioning is vital to them feeling like they can be their true self, as well as them keeping their mental health intact. They feel happier that way. And who the fuck are we to tell them they can't do that? They can't tell us as women how to be, and we can't tell them what they choose to be. That like there has to be respect going both ways. And I don't see that in the mentorship. However, I understand where his mentor is coming from because they're in the South. My family on my father's side is in the South, as well as a large amount of family on my mother's side. And like they're also of a different generation. That's not something that was accepted for them then. So just like his mentor says to her, you got parades and all of this now. Just because they have parades doesn't mean they're not still struggling with adversity and those things, but they have come much farther than that generation. So I just want to make sure people understand that. But I still don't think that this lady should be mentoring Karak. If you can't support his surgery, she's like, why do it? Why do it? You know, if this is because it's going to make him happy. So, you know, I think Karak should definitely choose to have a different mentor. Keep her in your life. Have her as a friend, because your friends can be around you and, you know, have different ideals and ideas and ideologies and all those things. But I don't know. She shouldn't be a mentor. The next thing we see of Karak and Brittany is, you know, while with the mentor, somehow they end up speaking about Brittany's mother because of the mentor's feelings and transition. And Karak turns it to, I don't like that they don't support it. And I said this online commenting on their Instagram page. Brittany's parents care about her. Obviously, they care about their child. She stated herself, she rebelled from them because she was raised strict. Her family's Hispanic, obviously, as she stated. And she said in this episode, my parents are immigrants. They're not from this country. So the things that America has gotten far with as far as LGBTQ rights and respect, the country her parents come from and their generation is not there yet. And that's the thing we have to remember. the new generations, those coming up, they're going to learn to love everybody regardless. But we can't forget about those who are existing already. So they don't have to change their beliefs, which are based on religion, for Brittany and Karak. But I don't think that they should shun their daughter because of who she chooses to be with or disrespect Karak. And that's not happened yet. It looks like they're working through things. She does talk to her parents. So I just feel like if you really love Brittany, Karak, you should push her to find a healthy way to have a good relationship with her family, or assure her that you're not going anywhere just because her parents don't like you. Because I think a lot of people in those situations and a part of that community probably experience what they experience. You know, not everyone's family supportive, but you're going to be with your person, or you're going to let your family dictate your future and your happiness. That's how I view it. Brittany gets really, really upset, but it looks like they end up, you know, solving the issue, or what I like to call, they put a pin in it just for the moment, just for the moment, because we then see them later again go to have dessert. I need to go do that with my husband. I've never done that really, like go to an ice cream shop and have ice cream there. Our hungry asses will go to Cold Stone or go to Cream or wherever the fuck, get our ice cream, come back home, have a big dinner, pop it in the freezer, then eat the ice cream in front of the movie or something. We don't really do stuff like around people. Maybe we should. Anywho, random thought. While they're getting their little frozen yogurt, they start to discuss IVF again, which throws me for a loop because, as we know from earlier episodes, Love During Lockup, the previous season, Brittany went to go see a fertility doctor and specialist, and she explained her situation with Karak, and she explained her situation with herself, what they want to do for having a child. They explained that it is possible, but in order for it to be Karak's egg, Karak would have to come off of his transitional medications, basically reverse his transition just to do that. That is something that understandably he's not willing to do. So I thought they're just not going to discuss it because he said, I'm still going to love a kid the same if it's not, you know, my full blood. But Karak doesn't want a child right now. He just got out of prison. Also, he's 26, she's 24. I think they both have a lot of maturing to do because jail has them still in the mindset of a 19-year-old, in my opinion. So Karak explains when they're talking about this, when Brittany brings it up, he's like, let's get married and get to know each other before we just have a baby. And I think that was like the most responsible thing I've heard anyone say so far on the show, because that's how it should be. Statistically and psychological statistics, just sharing some fun facts for school with y'all. Having a child adds stress to a relationship because it changes the dynamic. And that is why divorce rates, single parents, they're so prevalent. It's not always that this person's toxic and that person's toxic. Children change the dynamic, and not everyone is able to handle that. So it is smart to get to know each other and do it the right way, not because a Bible says so, but because it helps you to stay in a situation where you can have more stability for longer. Anywho, so Karak says that in Brittany's responses, she says, it seems we don't want the same things. You guys do want the same things. He's not saying I don't want to have children with you. He's saying I just got out of jail after 7 years. I haven't lived at all as an adult on the street. We need to get to know each other. We can't just jump into this, and that's okay. They're so young. You act like you like me in my 30s. Let's say everything go wrong in my relationship and I find another man or something. The biological clock, I would consider the geriatric pregnancy in just a few years. So it's like, Brittany, you have all the time in the world. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. It makes me wonder, because I see Brittany get upset when she doesn't get her way. So it makes me wonder how they're going to overcome obstacles. And her getting upset and throwing a fit over this is the exact reason why she's not ready to do it. How are you going to have a baby when you don't even have a good relationship with your parents, and the other parent to your child can't know the grandparents to your child? That's a messy situation. Yeah, it's possible, but take your time. Let go and let God, girl. Time heals all wounds, and it will tell. It's a fact. So that's all I can say for her. She was really, really pushy about it, and she tried to compare once they get off the kid topic, they get into the topic of his transition. And Brittany makes the foolish mistake of comparing her wanting to get a BBL to his transition surgery. I like Karak and Brittany. They're very cute, but I don't think in the long run that they will work out. And I think it's because of there's a maturity difference. She is not, they're both really immature, but he is less immature than she is. She has so much to learn, so much to conquer, so much to figure out with her family. I feel like she's trying to have a baby thinking it'll fix the situation and force her family to accept them. Honey, if you're desperate to just get a sperm donor and go have a baby, then do it. You don't need Karak to do that. So I think she's struggling with what she wants, and I hope that she figures it out. But that's all we got from them this episode. That we're going to discuss, you guys, is Joy Nomi and Red. Hot Mess Express. I'm trying to tell you, Joy Nomi is the girl. She lives on Native American reservation. I believe I don't remember what if she's Navajo or I don't remember right now. And I'm so sorry for that. But she's a sweet girl. We saw her pawning her Native American heirlooms, which bothered me. And I think everybody that watched the show to go see this man. She says that she spent all this money on Reg. They've been together for 7 years. She had a baby during that time. She has cheated on Red 3 times, child. And I'm saying, y'all gonna understand when I explain what happened. I don't think she understands the pain that being cheated on causes. It's never just a small thing. It's always a very, very, very big thing. Always. Homegirl is tripping. That's all I can say. So she lands from her plane the day before Red is released, and she's prepping to go see his mother. And we find out that she does have a good relationship with his family, even though she's a hoe. I mean, even though she has lacked loyalty when it comes to Red. So she's going to be meeting everyone in person for the first time, and the whole family knows of her cheating, which I find interesting. That's weird. Basically, she says she hopes to win his family over, and in her words, she wants them to know that she would never hurt or betray Red. But honey, they will never know that you won't hurt or betray Red. They will always know that you are possible and capable of doing so because you've done it with 3 different people that we know of. We only know of this because you got pregnant. Let's keep it 100. Like, that's the only reason why anybody knows. What is she doing? So I got to look at my notes, y'all, because a lot happened with her. She's a hot mess. So she basically, we meet Red's mom, who I thought was really sweet. And we find out that Red was not always a bad egg. He graduated early from high school. And in the time that he should have been a senior, I guess he got wrapped up with the wrong crowd. And that's how he got into the crime breaking. I actually know some people from Redwood City that think that they're hard. And like they identify, for those in the Bay Area, Redwood City is a prevalent, nice area. It is near Atherton, Belmont, Palo Alto, Menlo Park, where all the billionaires live. And, I knew some people from there, and they like to play with guns and go to EPA, which is like the one little hood out there. And it just seems like they really are excited. My husband's telling me I'm talking shit. This is a true experience. It's like they're excited about the hood, the ghetto, and all of that. And I'm just like, I feel like that might have been what happened with Red. His mother has a nice house. His sister came out okay. He was very smart. He graduated early. He had his father. His father passed away, and then he got wrapped up with the wrong people. He looks like a kid who didn't grow up in struggle, and nothing's wrong with that, who probably identified with struggle as a way to rebel from, whatever pain and depression and, lack of self-efficacy that he has. you know? And that's what I saw in those young people I knew in Redwood City. You know, they feel like they have to do that to be respected as people of color in an area where there aren't a lot of people of color. And I get it. That's why I'm not saying that to talk shit about them. That's why I'm not saying their names. But, you know, as someone who grew up somewhere that wasn't the nicest place, I just don't understand why you would want to like be from a hood. It wasn't fun. That's all I'm gonna say. But it looks like that's how Red got into his criminal activity. So that kind of makes me like, if he hasn't been institutionalized and has a good support system in his family and stuff, that maybe when he gets out, even though he's gotten in a lot of trouble while in jail, maybe he's rebelling because he's scared and he don't want nobody to fuck with him. And maybe this guy isn't so bad and has the potential to be something better. But we have to remember also, most inmates in jail right now are smarter than me and you and everybody else. They just didn't know how to channel that shit. I stand by that. I stand by that. Also, Beth says, speak the truth. It's also best. He stays in the West. Look at that. He's on my background. He is the background that makes it go when I move my hand. He just had a new single come out. We will always support you, my darling. Keep releasing slaps. Maybe I'll play it to end the show. Maybe. We'll see. Anywho, getting back to Joynomi and Red, that's just a little background. His mom wants to explain, like, my son made a mistake. He's hurting, but he's not a bad person. He is intelligent and he is a value. And I thought that was great. She has concerns, though. She's very kind. His mother-in-law reminds me of my mother-in-law. She's going to be so kind and so respectful, super personable, super extroverted, but she's going to keep it real. And that's what Kathy does. She will keep it real with you. She's nice to Joynomi, but she expresses to Joynomi, as well as the sister, Red, and the cameras, you know, she has concerns about, you know, if they're ready to be together. She says, you know, she has a son. Now he got to be a father, you know, and that son is someone that, you know, he cheated on. The mom has some concerns, you know, and I'm glad that she expressed them in a respectful way. I think too many parents go crazy. Look at Louie's mom, you guys. Insanity. So it's nice to see, you know, Red's mom, sweet, nice, normal. House was clean, pictures up. The house ain't outdated like Louie's mom. Louie's mom looked like my granny house in 1994. Facts. Anywho, she talked. So the mom expresses these concerns, and Joynomi is just like, I promise I'm not going to do that again. Like, she just talks like there's nothing, like the lights are on, but no one's home in her head. And basically, her sister comes in, Red's sister comes in, and they talk, and they go to the car the car that Joynomi bought for Red. Because remember, she spent $40,000 on him, even though she lives on a trailer. Just, I don't get it. So basically, the sister asks her, she says, so, you know, one day we get on Facebook and I see a baby bump. Mind you, she's supposed to be with her brother for years at that point. Her brother's locked up. They're not married. There's no conjugal visit. So her sister said, who spread their love inside of you? Basically, why? What's going on? You obviously cheated. And, you know, Joynomi is playing the victim. You are the cheater, honey. You are not the victim. You also chose to seek out a man in jail. So you can't use the excuse of I was lonely as an excuse to cheat. You know, like you can't do that. You can't. You better go. When my dude went to jail, I'm gonna tell you this. When Mr. Best went to jail, I didn't know, because the charges at first, me and his mom looked, we said, oh my God, what the fuck did he do? Because he was tripping. He was tripping. But I was not thinking of another man. I was hiring and writing a check for a fucking attorney so that I could make sure that I don't have to hold him down. And if he would have went down, there was a sex store around the corner from my house. I would have went and bought bedroom candy. Shout out to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Member Candy. Would have got one of her vibrators or something. But why cheat? That's no. But I'm also a person who doesn't use, like, for me to have sex with someone, it needs to be like, we need to connect and not just over dinner. But you can still feed me. If that makes sense. Like, we need to connect. So remember, she doesn't know who the father of her son is. And homegirl hasn't cared to look either. Because in her mind, Red is going to be, he's that baby's daddy. That's what Joy Nomi is saying to Red, basically. The sister explains, her concerns and how she feels about that. And Joy makes excuses. And that's when the sister starts like, listen, we're going to be respectful. This is how our family is, but you need to be accountable. And that's true. That's all you can do after you cheat. You can't take it back. Be genuinely apologetic and accountable in every way that you can be. In every way, even if it doesn't work out, it's the right thing to do, people. So we basically see Joy say, she shuts the conversation down. I'm not talking about this anymore. She gets out the car, mad at the sister. The sister's just sitting there respectful because the sister would listen. If that was my brother, if somebody talked to Jelani like that, they gonna get popped upside their fucking head, girlfriend or not. Who you talking to? This part and Joy's going off on her. It's like, you cheated on my brother with 3 different people, and you don't know who your child's father is, and you want my brother to now be the father of the child that you had when you cheated on him. What in the actual fuck? Like, what? It doesn't. She is delusional. Joy Nomi is just as delusional as Renika and Monique from this. Listen, delusional. I cannot understand it. So when she's storming off, she screams to her sister, I'm going to the house. She's like, you're going to my mom's house. She's my mom too. You're not married. She's not your mom, bro. What? I'm like, you argued to his sister. That's my mom too. Bro, that lady choose her kids 10 times over you, lady. What's going on with Joy Nomi? She's crazy. What if he did that to her family? Y'all be judging him? She's actually crazy. Something's wrong with her. We know something's wrong with her because she let 3 different people nut up in her. That's unprotected sex. Why? If you're going to do it, nobody cares how many people you fuck, but at least use a condom or birth control. I have friends that are actual prostitutes. They're on birth control. Like, I don't judge them. They hit me up. Sometimes we go to brunch. Sometimes they drag me to a strip club. I don't care. I like strippers. And it's their business. So nobody's judging her for doing it. What we're judging is like, if you're going to be out here, like, literally past promiscuity, then at least protect yourself. Let's not spread people, diseases, infection. One day this child is going to be of age and want to know who his real daddy is. It's going to happen. You can lie. And if you lie to him his whole life, he's going to be mad at you and resent you for that. Either way, one day this child will find out the truth and you won't be able to give him answers. You need to be researching the last people you let release themselves in you instead of trying to chase this man who's in jail to be a father to your kid. I don't trust it. And I find it interesting. His father passed, so I'm like, are you taking advantage of his trauma? I don't trust Joy Nomi worth a damn. She's the most dangerous type of human being. I know some of y'all in the Facebook group, I be getting at her physical appearance and all of that. My thing, I don't even care about that. Like, she's reckless and dangerous for everybody. I don't, and the way she manipulated that, and she's fine too. Like, homegirl, if I had my license, I'd 5150 her like today. She needs a psychiatric evaluation. Joy Nomi she's crazy. Pretty name. I don't know. Anywho, she storms in the house and the sister comes in, and I like how the sister moves. She said, "Oh, she want to storm off. Watch this. Did you tell my mama that it wasn't just the one person you cheated with? It was 3 different people." The mom was like, she's like, "Now listen, everybody calm down. We just need to focus on getting to Red." And then they all leave together to go pick him up. My opinion, Mrs. Best's opinion, is that Joy Nomi is a dangerous, sociopathic psychopath of some sort, just not the type to kill or none of that. I definitely think that she needs to seek therapy or inpatient treatment because the way that she lacks accountability. She's making excuses and thinks it's okay to cheat on your dude because he's in jail. You know how many women would be mad at that who hold they niggas down? Do you know? I had a cousin who's held someone down for 12 years and he should be getting out soon. I got another girl I know in the deep. She held her dude down for the entire time I was in high school up until I turned 20. So that was like 6.5 years. They together to this day. Didn't cheat. She used to be tripping on people when she would get drunk and stuff, though, because bitch didn't have no dick. But she didn't cheat. She did not cheat, y'all. She didn't cheat. She didn't cheat. She just didn't. And now he's home, and they, you know, I'm from Oakland, so it's a little, but hey, she didn't cheat. I'm realizing that's my husband's like, what the, like, oh yeah, this probably isn't the most normal. Anywho, we're going to see what happens with Joynobi, the family, and all the other couples on next week's episode. I think we are at the half point of the season because they are marketing that Life After Lockup will be coming on soon. So I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm just, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, with the season. And I'm kind of curious as to who is going to end up coming on to Life After Lockup. Because I know I am tired, so tired of seeing, what is that couple? Brittany and Marcelino and Lindsay and Blaine. I'm tired of it all. I am tired of it all. Just also best is laughing brought as it had any lang. Listen, leave me alone, also best. Anywho, we are at the end of the show, people. Since Also Best had a song come out and he is my husband, we'll give it a listen. It will be ending our show. We will have our next recap for this show on Saturday again next week, 11 a.m. And we will also be having a song review on Tuesday. And I will be having recaps for Basketball Wives LA and Basketball Wives Orlando on Tuesday, as well as Love and Hip Hop Miami on Wednesday. So I thank you all for watching, and I hope you have the best evening.
What's up, Oso? Hey, what's this they talk about us a drought? Like, what we say?
Oh, yeah. The drought is over.